The beautiful north coast of Northern Ireland plays host to one of the world's biggest and best motorcycling festivals, the Nickel Oil's Phonacab Northwest 200. And here's what's happened so far.
Water cascades out the bottom of the fairings. Side by side, Davy Todd right where he wants to be. This is too much, too tight. It will be Alistair Seeley that takes the win from Davy Todd. Absolutely unbelievable where they're finding that grip. Oh, that's going to be tight. Oh, look at that. Checker flag time then. Alistair Seeley takes the win. Oh, look at that. What a race, Steve. It is Richard Cooper. Richard Cooper looking absolutely superb. That's incredible. Oh! It is a checker flag. It is Lee Johnston. No, surely not.
Glenn Irwin, 5 consecutive wins in the Superbike class. Incredible.
So 5 races down and 3 more to go. Now the Northwest 200 is one of the most iconic motorcycling circuits in the world. 8.9 miles of closed public roads between the towns of Portrush, Portstewart and Coleraine. It's time to join our commentary team, Steve Parrish and Keith Ewan.
The J.M. Patterson Super Twin race is over 4 laps. Richard Cooper is on pole. Pierre-Yves Bihan, Paul Jordan will join him on the front row. Joe Lachlan, Jeremy McWilliams and Jamie Coward, row 2. Michael Dunlop, Lee Johnston, Michael Rutter on row 3. And Michael Sweeney heads off row 4.
And these guys and teams have only had about an hour and a half to re-prepare these bikes after the first race, so they've got to get going quickly, and they're about to.
Watch for Richard Cooper on the right of your picture on the 47 machine. Joe Lachlan is there on the 25. Then it's Pierre-Yves Bihan on the 199. And a lot of riders here. Any one of these front rows could make this a win. But Richard Cooper absolutely, as before, clears off. That power to weight ratio of little Richard on that Super Twin is so good. Oh, Pierre-Yves Bihan is right up the outside. He's going the long way round.
Brilliant. And Joe Lachlan looking good there as well in 3rd position over the top of the hill of the jump there. That was a move, a pass.
I thought he was going on the path. I don't know about a pass. Oh, he's hot in there, the Frenchman.
And
too hot.
Way too hot. No, that's it. That's him done for. Surely he won't be able to rejoin. If he does, it'll be right at the back of the pack.
Disaster for the Frenchman. Let's look at these as they break down then into bottom gear, and everybody looking at the outside line. And Pierre-Yves Bihan came in really hot. Second wave has gone through now as well. That's York Corner. But look at this, the run through station, and Richard Cooper is away from Joe Lachlan. And there's McWilliams as well. McWilliams is up to 3rd, Steve.
He is, and Lee Johnston went very wide at York Corner. You can see him well back in the pack, about 9th or 10th position.
He'll make that up just on the brakes.
Here he comes, here he comes. Yeah, you're probably right. There he is, the number 13 Ashcourt machine, the 22. You can see there's Paul Jordan on the Kawasaki Prez Racing.
And look at that slipstream, and they just can't get a headway. Oh, they're all over the place. 4 abreast almost, down towards University. Who's going to shut off first? It won't be McWilliams when it comes to that. But look at these 4, stuck together.
How close do you like it? We saw in the first race that Aprilia's not the fastest bike out there, but we know that Lee Johnston is latest on the brakes. Christian
Elkin is there on the bike number 8 as well. He's looking for an inside line at York. Oh, straight on. It's not his day, is it? He's just slipped off on the grass. Pierre-Yves Bihan then has overshot
And that's Brian McCormack, the FHO bike. He's overshot as well. So a lot of riders have just gone down there. Maybe a bit less wind than the other day, just got in too hot.
Yeah, full tank as well, of course. It just carries them on. And this is a replay, Pierre-Yves Bien. And really, it was one of them ones. That is rather annoying, because that wasn't even a spectacular crash, was it?
No, he shouldn't have got up this morning, should he?
So,
back at the front, there's Lee Johnson, 13. He's got past that pack on the brakes. Jump number 99 there, Jeremy McWilliams. This will be fun. Two Irishmen that do enjoy each other's company, but maybe not here today.
That is impressive progress from Johnson, I've got to say. Here comes McWilliams, though. McWilliams in the slipstream. He's going to make a pass on Johnson, but watch Johnson on the brakes at the end of the straight here. So we look back to the 65 machine, and that is Michael Sweeney. Yeah, Michael Sweeney is going up the inside on the brakes as well. Or is he? No, in that case.
No, he certainly won't be from there, but here we go. So McWilliams, I think, has the faster bike, slightly faster. Looking back from Christian Elkin now on the Dyna Centre Kawasaki.
Church corner. Johnson has got it. This is where Johnson has looked really good, under the bridge and then up onto the coast road. He just seems to get the drive up there. I don't know whether he's got it geared perfectly or what. We're looking at McWilliams, no blinking from him.
No, I think what it is with Lee Johnson, it's just that he is fast on the corners there. So there's your leader, 25 in second place. That is, of course, Joe Lachlan, the Castle Blaney man on the pattern.
Well, it's Richard Cooper that leads. Joe Lachlan in second place is looking really good.
He's wiped his nose. He's gone wide, has he? No, he hasn't. Lee Johnson trying to come back. I think Jeremy couldn't get that bike stopped, but he managed to slam it through there.
Yeah, he's going to look for every single opportunity. He's going to need it as well, but he's not going to get away from Johnston. Johnston is one of those guys that once he's tagged on your rear wheel, no chance of getting away. McWilliams will be trying as hard as he can, but he won't want to make a mistake in the middle of some of these chicanes, that is for certain. So McWilliams then just about has the advantage as they come through the start and finish chicane. Looking down through the order, nobody out to the curb yet. Christian Elkin is bike number 8. 65, we've already talked about him. That's Michael Sweeney.
Meanwhile, Richard Cooper just seems to be getting faster and faster. He's broken the lap record in the first race. They probably go even faster today.
Good that we got 2 races away. They're only 4 laps, but these Super Twins are absolutely fraught all the way through.
Oh, in the side there, that's getting him back. That was Lee Johnston just pushing Jeremy a tiny bit wide. There is your leader, number 47, Richard Cooper. 25 there, about 5 seconds back, Joe Lachlan.
And then this battle for third place, a podium place. Who's it going to be? Could be any one of these 5. Johnston has it at the moment at the Mill Road roundabout. Then it's McWilliams on 99. 8 is Christian Elkin. 36, Jamie Coward coming into play there as well, right at the back. We haven't even mentioned him, but he's been there all the way through. Cooper, Lachlan, Johnston and McWilliams are your top 4 as they cross the line. Here comes McWilliams again. Big slipstream. I've got to say, Johnston bike seems to be lacking just a horsepower or 2.
Yeah, it's a new bike. It's not really been developed that much. I think they're really preparing it for the TT as much as anything. Number 8 there, Christian Elkin, coming past there. We just had word that 165.5 miles an hour from one of these 650 twins. 700s now, I explained it before. They've moved the capacity up to 700cc for these twins.
You can see there that Johnson got the slipstream, got alongside the bike and then slipped back as soon as he had a headwind. So Johnson really is struggling, even with the slipstream. He got alongside Jeremy McWilliams, the 99 bike, and then slipped back. There's the second place man, Joe Lachlan going through on 25. Then it's McWilliams, 99. 13, Johnson up the inside, but it's Christian Elkin now is making some running up towards the rear end of Jeremy McWilliams. Over the link road they go. Watch this man on the brakes into the Ballysally roundabout. Next stop.
Couldn't do it that time. Great surface. It's actually quite cambered towards you. It's a positive camber here. Then, as we've spoken about it before, over the crown, then it becomes negative camber. And there, Lee Johnson using a little bit of extra road there to get the run onto this straight. Yeah, very important to get the run on the straights. Get
that drive 1 mile an hour faster onto the straight. You're going to carry it all the way down. Here comes Jamie Coward on the 36 machine, but blasting straight the way past is the 65 of Michael Sweeney. He started right back on row 4. So he's punching above his weight if qualifying's got anything to do with it. 2 by 2 they enter the chicane.
Until you get on the brakes. And then it's 1 by 1. Lee Johnson slams it down the inside. That's very tight, right down to first gear, grabbing second as they exit it, and then all the way back up to 6th gear.
And while these guys get themselves in a bit of a muddle trying to fight for a position, Jeremy McWilliams has just slipped up the road a little bit, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's just got away from this bunch, but I'm not sure if it will stay that way, but side by side. They are literally inches away from one another at 165 miles an hour.
And you can't believe the turbulence around you when you've got a slipstream situation as well. Forget the bumps in the road. The turbulence, the wind movement around you is huge. Jamie Coward gets it bouncing into the chicane. The 36 of Coward looked a little bit out of control there for a moment, but he got it all back under control just when it counted. Up the road still, Richard Cooper on 47 leads this race from the 25 of Joe Lachlan, but this is your third place.
Oh, my goodness me.
He kissed the curb.
Yeah, touching the curb there. That was just incredible from Jamie Coward.
He kind of got put there, really, didn't he? Didn't have much else to do. Kissed the curb, slung the rocks up into the face of the followers, and Jamie Coward at Metropole steams on towards Church Corner. He'll have ignored it now. He's back into race mode and after Lee Johnston.
Let's see if Lee Johnston can do anything on the coast road in closing. Jeremy McWilliams down. This is his best part over the top. They come up towards Black Hill there, the new resurfaced part of it. Much better now, it's got rubber on it. And look at that,
yeah.
closing all the time up into Black Hill. Then he'll get the run out of it. Richard Cooper, there's no one chasing him, though. They're long way back. Yeah, he's got the momentum, and he's found his rhythm around this 9-mile course. Joe Lachlan goes through in second place. Good ride from him. He's got some great guys behind him, a long way behind him. McWilliams 99. Johnston is ever present in fourth place. Then it's Coward versus Elkin on the brakes into the chicane. And Elkin's gone straight on, bounces across the grass. No, he's down. Oh, that was unfortunate. Wet grass, I'm afraid.
We've seen that. There's a little strip of tarmac there that actually just digs in. We've seen it already this week. Yeah, I think they should fill that bit of tarmac in because it catches out riders. You think you've got it sorted, and then you haven't. Watch this, just there.
Yeah, it is. It's like a lump. I think you've got to be on the gas, actually. Not that you really feel like doing that.
McWilliams back down the gearbox. Still Johnston fighting with him. Johnston's closed him back down now.
Yeah, on that coast road there, that was the part that Lee Johnston likes. Unfortunately, we all know he knows that he's going to lose it down this straight now. Jeremy has a real good look over his shoulder. There you go. I think he's trying to say, I want to get second, isn't he?
Yeah, I think he's third, though, so he's not quite made the right calculation just yet. So, follow me.
That was the old Barry Sheen little wave of the hand, as Murray Walker said.
Victory is not imminent. Richard Cooper, Joe Lachlan, Lee Johnston, the top three. Jeremy McWilliams, this is the battle for that third place, of course. And here we go again. Look at that. It's almost like he's lit some kind of turbo past Lee Johnston. Johnston must be getting a bit demoralised. Station corner then, flat out for these Super Twins through here.
You could see very little wind. That windsock was hanging very well down, so maybe 5-6 knots of wind out there, and it won't make a big amount of difference.
Coward comes past Johnston as well on the 36 machine, so Johnston goes back to fifth place. That is your second place man that's just gone through your screen at University Corner into the braking area. McWilliams is next up in third place still. Can he hang on to this third place? Will it be a podium for the 58-year-old Ulsterman? 25, Lachlan's good ride from him. Done brilliantly today.
Yeah, he's a rather lonely race for him, but nevertheless in front of some extremely good riders here.
Richard Cooper, of course, his Kawasaki, controversial. More about that later, but Richard Cooper leads on the road from Joe Lachlan. Pierre-Yves Bien, I remind you, out, having taken to the ditch at University. Meanwhile, in the braking area, McWilliams is there, but Johnston, every time he's close, you know he's going to make a pass on the brakes.
Yeah, poor Yves Pierre Bien not only went wide at York Corner, I think he was just trying a bit too hard down into University. It all went horribly wrong for him. Here we go, closing in. It's like the Jaws music, but unfortunately, A, there was no gap there. He had to go on the grass to get through, but B, I'm not sure if he pulls out. He's got enough speed to get to complete that pass, but he has for 36 there. Yeah. Charges Jamie Coward from Halifax.
But watch this, because it will all be down to the brakes, and Johnston comes into his own when we get... Look at the wide line he takes into this chicane to try and line up the power on the way out, to get on the gas just a millisecond before everyone else. Johnston in third place in your picture at the moment. He's going to pick up a slipstream. Will it be good enough down at Metropole? Still, it's McWilliams on the 99. Here comes Johnston. He always manages to bounce up the inside. Oh, he won't stop that. He will stop that. He's a bit wide. Will McWilliams get underneath him? No, it's a block pass. Good job.
Yeah, excellent job, wasn't it? Here we are, 47, a comfortable lead for Richard Cooper.
Yeah, Coop's back on the coast road now through Juniper and down towards the final chicane. The start and finish chicane we come to then. Coops has done an absolutely double first-class job here. Takes the win over there. Checkered flag is out. Richard Cooper wins on the road. Controversially, Joe Lachlan comes home in second place. And then looking back up the track, it is Johnston who's pinched it. Johnston has kept it. Richard Cooper doing the Super Twins double and taking a fine race win from Joe Lachlan, Lee Johnston, Jeremy McWilliams, Jamie Coward, Michael Sweeney.
The JMC Kawasaki has just been faultless, and it's a pleasure to ride. You know, when you see those the program's being waved on the last lap. It really is something special. It's been a fantastic day so far. You know, the Superbike podium was a surprise to me as it was to probably everybody else.
But there was a protest lodged about Richard Cooper's Kawasaki. He's been excluded from the results, and now it's Joe Lachlan who takes the official win. Let's take a break. Racing is next.
Welcome back to the Northwest 200.
6 laps race distance for the CP Hire Superstock Race, the second in our run this week. Glenn Irwin, Alistair Seeley, Davey Todd will be on the front row from Peter Hickman, Michael Dunlop and Lee Johnston on row 2. Richard Cooper, John McGuinness and Michael Sweeney on row 3, and Dom Herbertson fronts off row 4. There it is then, line up, and the temperature is up. The track is warming up, Steve.
It is super stock machines, over 200 horsepower, nearly as fast as a Superbike. Glenn Irwin gets away, doesn't he? Number 1 there, really good on the fireblade. Alistair Seeley and gets through there. Alistair Seeley, lap record holder at the moment, but I don't think he will be at the end of this race, Keith.
No, I'm pretty sure you're right. 74, Davey Todd got a good start there as well. Second in the first outing for Superstocks this week. So Davey Todd looking for his first win if he can make it on the 74 machine. Keep an eye on him in 3rd place. But it is the wee wizard, who's about to be T-boned by Glenn Irwin. So Irwin a little wide there. And another bit of pushing and shoving going on. Lee Johnson getting involved in it there on the 13 machine. So York Corner, it's so tight down there, isn't it?
Yeah, and of course different bikes, different brakes, everything feels a lot different. Full tanks of fuel, you've mentioned it before, but they are a different animal on the first few corners.
Glenn Irwin has dropped back to 3rd place now on a number 1 machine. Let's take another look at this. It all gets a fraction tight. I've got to say, Lee Johnson was a bit slack off the line there. I don't know whether he got it bogged down, but Lee Johnson really put himself in a vulnerable position as they shoot along the frontier, Primrose Hill and down towards York. We're now on the run down to University. You've said it already, over 195 mile an hour for production stock 1000cc motorbikes. Unbelievable. And it is narrow down here at that speed.
Not a lot in it. Honda on your right, Yamaha on your left. Lee Johnson just goes through.
There's the other Honda. That one is Davey Todd that's just gone through as well. It's a blur even for our cameras. Here we go. Glenn Irwin leads in from Davey Todd. Davey Todd aiming for the inside. Well, he's not. It's the number 1's just gone off the track.
Glenn Irwin straight on. I said it before, these bikes are different to the Superbikes that he's used to.
Davey Todd went off as well. Davey Todd went off as well. So Davey Todd was suckered into Glenn Irwin's mistake, and Davey Todd went into the ditch. So that's a disaster for Todd. 2nd place in the first Superstock running this week, but now Todd is out of it effectively. Wow, can't believe that.
No, me either. That was Michael Dunlop sat there in 2nd position. We're on board with Lee Johnson, who had that pretty awful start. He's trying to build himself through, get through the gap down here. He must have got a slipstream down that first straight, because 204 miles an hour on a super stock machine. Outrageous.
That is unbelievable. And as I say, it's narrow as well. At that kind of speed, you can imagine, can't you? So then, trying to sort themselves out. It is the wee wizard out front at the moment from Michael Dunlop in 2nd place.
Michael Sweeney, 65, in that 3rd position. He came up the 3rd row, so what a start he's got.
Hutchinson is in there on bike number 4 as well. Keep an eye on Ian Hutchinson. We're not seeing much of him at the moment. Back on board with Lee Johnston.
And we can't quite see the revs and the gears. We can see the warning lights to say shift to gear, and they are right up there at the moment, because when you get in the slipstream, it tends to over rev just a tiny bit. Some speed there. That was John McGuinness he just went by.
It's not just the fact you might over rev from the actual speed of the motorbikes, it's also over the bumps and the wheel spin that you're getting. Through comes a wee wizard then. 34 from Michael Dunlop. Michael Dunlop looking really, really nicely to the shoulder of Alistair Seeley. Blasting down towards Metropole then, side by side, Dunlop versus, this is going to make the fans jump up and down and wave their programmes as these two come into sight.
Sweeney still in 3rd place, that's number 5, Dean Harrison. Down the slip road is Hutchie.
Yeah, Hutchie
he's got a problem there.
Got a handful of nothing, hasn't he? Hasn't
he got a problem? It seemed like he'd looked like he got a brake issue.
Heading towards the seafront then, we look as they stream down. There's Connor Cummins on bike number 11 that's in the mix. There's John McGuinness. John McGuinness looking resplendent in Honda colours. Got to say, that looks lovely. Building up for the TT. Looks very relaxed, doesn't he, out there? Unlike Glenn Irwin, putting it down real hard.
Yeah, well, he's got a lot of time to make up, having had to turn around down at University. It's going to be interesting to see what Davey Todd could do. He was down in the grass, but he's got himself back out from what our timing screen says.
Glenn Irwin, all action, BSB superstar nowadays, winning 3 on the trot at Donington the other week, and now he's here on the roads, looking forward to the TT as well. Glenn Irwin is going to be a superstar, no doubt about that, of both short circuits and roads. Look at the amount of effort he puts in. No wonder he was a little tired after the first Superbike race.
Yeah, it just shows how physical it is. You're dancing on the footrest, so you're not really sat down at all because of the bumps anyway. Shifting your body weight to the inside, the outside, trying to get up the front to keep the front wheel down. They use a lot of rear brake here just to try to keep the front end down. And there he is.
Well, he wasn't scheduled to come out in this, was he? But he had a curry and decided that he would come out and race in it after all.
Yeah, I think most people have an energy drink, don't they? I've never heard of a chicken curry doing what it's doing to him, but it is working quite well, but he's got so much time to make up. Going to be difficult because this man, the wee wizard, out in front. Michael Dunlop there in second place. Big gap back to Sweeney. Dean Harrison. Lee Johnson doing okay, in fairness.
Yeah, through Station Corner then, onto the run down to University now. Absolutely flat stick, looking for the slipstream, trying to avoid the inside grass. If you get too much of a slipstream, it throws you down the outside. If the rider in front is also trying to make a slipstream pass, it could get a bit complicated. And at these speeds, believe me, you don't need complications.
And there's still a little amount of room when the guys are weaving from left to right. You see that gap closing and opening. It's hard to get past.
34 and 6, that's Seeley and Dunlop. Then it's Dean Harrison on 5. Johnston gets his foot down. That's too much.
Connor Cummins going through.
Well, he would. Johnson left the door so wide open after you, sir. So Johnson just a breaking point too far for him on that point there at University. Johnson will have to do it all again. That's going to be hard work.
It is. That's Michael Dunlop on the MD Racing Fireblade. It's his own bike as such. Alistair Seeley, the man out in front.
That FC Yamaha does look so nice in the sun. Oh, hello, Michael. Dunlop then, big wheelie as he goes past, slipstream and a wheelie to go with it.
Yeah, and the crowd are going to go nuts now, aren't they? This is the first time Michael Dunlop's led a race here this weekend at the Northwest 200, but he is out in front at the moment. Seeley going to be chasing him down. When you get to the Metropole, if he's still in front, there'll be a lot of programmes waving.
Yeah, that's for sure. And Lee Johnston then trying to make up for that slight misdemeanour at University Corner a bit earlier on. He got over the Link Road and round the Ballysally roundabout. Now he's trying to make up for the deficit. Looks like he's going to do it as well. He's picking up a big slipstream. He's had to roll out of that. The road was blocked.
I was going to say, there's no track to get through, but there is this time not on the brakes. There isn't. There is.
Round the outside, round the inside. Lee Johnson doesn't care on the brakes, does he? He's just so good. But he had to roll out the throttle just because the room ran out.
The big Manxman, Connor Cummins, out in front. He's got the drive out of there. He's about half the side of Connor Cummins as far as height's concerned. Down the inside, nice and easy for him. This is the BMW, the Ashcourt BMW.
Just past the Paget's Honda. So the 11 on the left-hand side is Connor Cummins, but it's Johnson back in front as we come down the Metropole. But look at this. Here comes Davy Todd. Davy Todd's there again. The man that was in the ditch just a little while ago, the 74 Davy Todd. And he's past Cummins as well. And here comes Glenn Irwin. He was the man who led Davy Todd up the road into the ditch.
That's extraordinary, isn't it? How quick has he recovered, Davy Todd? Unreal the way he's got through the traffic and got back so quickly. Already passed his teammate as they charge through there.
I'm told he's a very good motocrosser. Now we know.
Yeah, and he's also just set a new lap record, Keith. 4:20. That is 2 seconds slower than the Superbikes.
Unreal.
On a Superstock bike, a 4:20 is unreal.
Treaded tyres and nothing like the sophistication of a Superbike. Now then, IFS Yamaha up the inside. Sorry, yes it is. IFS Yamaha up the inside. Seeley goes through on Michael Dunlop. This is going to be a proper battle. Still a bit of dust around here as well as the track temperature comes up. Second race of the day, of course. We've had the Super Twins out there. They've cleaned the track up first thing today. But there is still right out to the edge. You don't want to be right out there. It's still a little bit dirty. But the wee wizard has got this covered at the moment on the 34 machine.
Same deal, we've got a bit of a tyre battle on. We've got Metzler leading with the wee wizard. We've got Dunlop on the Dunlops, always has been and mostly always will be. And we have, look at this, that
David Todd, that's remarkable.
Todd has got all the way through this traffic. Glenn Irwin obviously hasn't had quite as an easy run through a bit more traffic, a little bit more of slower riders, and they're not slow at all, but he is so fast.
Cummins and Goins. He's just gone past Connor Cummins then, and watch out for it. He looks all action. I have to say, Glenn Irwin, you could just watch him on his own.
Stop. No.
Straight on. Glenn Irwin, that's the second big mistake he's made. He's had 2 of them there, actually. Yeah. Then 1 down at University as well. So
I think he's quitting.
I wonder whether he's cooked his brakes.
I wouldn't be surprised if he's not done his rear braking, because he's a big rear braker keeping the front end down. And as soon as we know that the primary brake is the front, but if you lose your rear brake, that stops the bike steadying and he's out.
Dom Herbertson on number 19 goes through. So Glenn Irwin has moved himself out of the way of the rest of the competition. He'll roll round then. But we still look down on These two battling it out for this. Look at that big slipstream you're getting there. Wait for it. There he goes. He did it last lap. He's done it again. 6 laps this race, of course. Long distance here for the Superstock bikes. Up the inside. Oh, yes. Hark at those things screaming down at University into the link race. Got straight on! Oh, disaster then for Michael Dunlop. That's his challenge done with.
Yeah, absolutely. Alistair Seeley, I'm afraid, would have been happy looking at that. Todd goes through.
Yeah, Todd through then. And that was the place where he was in the ditch just a few laps ago.
Todd, I can tell you, is 3.5 seconds faster. He has been 3.5 seconds faster than Alistair Seeley. He can win the race. He actually, the gap he's pulling it in and the speed that he's pulling in the leader is extraordinary.
Putting a lot of pressure on his tyres, though. You imagine how much you're cooking them with the tyre temperature coming up as well.
He has already. It's happened. That was him. That was him. Davey Todd was over on the left-hand side.
Has he got a problem, I wonder? Here's Michael going. Let's do it one by one. Michael goes straight on then, gets it bouncing and juddering into University corner. Manages to get it stopped. Little bit of grass back on the case. So he should be there. There's Davey Todd going through. So Todd getting the performance. But no doubt about this man. He has been majestic. Here comes the second place man, Lee Johnston. Then it is still Davey Todd. Look at the front end of that fender.
Yeah, there's something wrong with that tyre, I think, because he was slowing, wasn't he? And the front end...
The fender, the mudguard, was shaking its head. Really, really violently shaking. So it looks like he's got a lot of vibration going on at the front end.
And all not well there with Michael Dunlop, number 6, looking over his shoulder, looking down at his tyres. I don't know if he's got a problem as well as Davey Todd.
Certainly there is. Yeah, he's got his hand in the air as well, so he's feeling not at home on that machine. There is the Mill Road roundabout. Well, what are we in for here in the closing stages of the Superstock race? Seeley, Johnston, Todd, Harrison. That's how it was as they crossed the line last time round. We are looking down on Davey Todd. I think that's Harrison that's right on his case now. It is at station corner. Todd doesn't look enthusiastic at chucking it in there quite as hard as he would do normally.
There's something going on. We know that.
And then straight back into the slipstream. So the edge of his tyre perhaps is causing him a little bit of consternation. But now he's back at it. Here comes Dean Harrison again in the slipstream. They're heading down towards University now. You can pass each other 2 or 3 times down here. Johnston goes through. He's in second place. Here comes Dean Harrison on bike number 5.
There's something wrong with that bike. There's the number 74 bike that David Todd.
Dean Harrison
there as well.
Dean Harrison again. They all like the grass just there, don't they? They've all gone a bit agricultural. Look at the fender on that thing. It's wearing it through.
Yeah,
it looks like it's worn through the top of the mudguard.
I think it has where it's moving around. There's something wrong with that tyre, and you noticed the way he went through station corner. He wasn't really on it as much as he would be normally. I think there's a big vibration going on there for Davey Todd, number 74. Dean Harrison, I don't know what he did, just ran a little bit wide. 200
mile an hour with a tyre or a situation developing at the front end. Rather you than me, that is for sure. It's not a happy situation. Look at the thing weaving about as well. David Todd definitely looks, he's looking down. Let's have a look and see what's going on with that bike. The front end's flapping away. I don't know whether the fender has come loose or what.
I think the tyre's blistered. I really do. There's something not right, and he's slowing a lot now.
It's going to feel absolutely awful. Here, though, is your race leader. Through he goes, Alistair Seeley. Lee Johnston is a fine second place at the moment on the number 13 bike. We'll wait to see who's still in third. It is Dean Harrison from a drop in Davey Todd. Davey Todd, and again, we look at that bike. Look at the front end. The fender is worn through where it's been touching the tyre, or the tyre is coming apart and smacking the fender, one or the other.
Exactly. He's out now. He's more or less put his hand up, I think.
What a disaster. He's ridden so well.
He does go away with a lap record, a stunning lap record for Superstocks at the 4:20.
Closing stages then of the CP Hire Superstock race. We are at the start and finish line now. Going through, last lap time already gone through has been Alistair Seeley. And the second place man, Lee Johnston. It is Dean Harrison looking good for third on the number 5, the Dow Racing Kawasaki. Sounds sweet, doesn't it?
Yeah, not the best bike out there, but it's a solid bike, and it suits Dean Harrison. He's been with the team for a long, long time, been on the Kawasaki's for a long, long time. Absolutely everything works for him, and he's comfortable on it. He's going to be a real threat at the TT. David
Todd still on that leaderboard as they came across the line, so he hasn't actually retired just yet. Here's your race leader. He's got half a triangle to go. We're at University. He'll be over the link road, and expect a wheelie from him in a moment or two. That's for sure. In victory, I'm sure. It will be his 27th win around this racetrack.
I know. What an achievement. You can't think anyone's ever going to beat that.
Alistair Seeley cruising through the chicanes now. He's well on his way. He's done a great job here. He will be a candidate for man of the meeting, that's for sure, that everybody votes for. Bike weaving around. I still can't believe how a stock motorcycle is nearly 200 mile an hour consistently around this 9-mile track, but down at Metropole into the braking area.
And lapping 2 seconds slower than a £100,000 Superbike that's got all the technical advantages you can possibly get with different forks, swinging arms, braking systems and everything else. The crowd all waving and cheering as he goes through Church Corner.
Under the railway bridge. Oh, and there's David. It's gone flat.
Yeah.
It's actually gone flat. That front tyre has burst. That is incredible. 200 mile an hour motorcycle, and he's now got a front flat. When was the last time you had a puncture on a motorbike?
No, I don't think it was a puncture. I think it was probably a delamination.
Oh, well, absolutely. That's what I meant. But at the end of the day,
absolutely extraordinary. It's normally the rear tyre. But there's the man, Alistair Seeley, 27 northwest winds, locking it up. Nicely done, Lee Johnson, and then Dean Harrison comes through in 3rd position.
Alistair Seeley will be on the top step from Lee Johnson and Dean Harrison. Sweeney, McGuinness, West are your top 6, with Harrison, Neve, Coward and Maurer rounding out the top 10.
So just kind of put the head down, try to keep everything smooth, and it's probably a blessing that I rode the Stalker in the Superbike race, because I knew how the tyres would feel after a few laps and what we had to change for that race. And the bike was mint, IFS Yamaha, working awesome. Metzler tyres, brilliant to the end.
Don't go away, we'll be back after the break.
Welcome back to the Northwest 200. It's the feature race of the day, the Fonacaba Nickel Oils Northwest 200. Glenn Irwin, Peter Hickman, Richard Cooper were to go from the front row, with Harrison, Dunlop and Todd on road 2. Hillier, Brooks, Johnston and McGuinness round out the top 10. But since this lineup was scheduled, all change. So a massively depleted grid, and that is 9 riders that will go in the first wave then. Glenn Irwin to the right of your picture, looking back at Michael Rutter. He's running Dunlops, you know. He's decided to go out with Dunlops on.
He has. He's the only one that has gone out there. But number 1, Glenn Irwin, goes through on the Honda UK machine, the fastest man we've seen here this weekend, pretty much.
Second wave will be leaving the grid about now, while this wave of 9 riders are down to York for the first time. The York hairpin back down the gearbox.
Hillier.
Yeah, looking at James Hillier there on the 37 machine. He took a bit of a tumble out of here on the Supersport bike earlier.
Oh, he did, and that was Hutchie that went a bit deep into York Corner. Hillier gets past him. So out in front is the number 1 machine, Glenn Irwin from Balaclare, Honda Racing UK.
Looking for his 6th on the bounce Superbike win. What can stop him? I don't think anybody.
Well, 47, Richard Cooper looking good there. How good has he been over this weekend? Riding the twins, he just seems to jump from one bike to another.
Lovely lad, and a good rider round here. Bearing in mind, it's only the 2nd year he's ever been here with that big gap in between. So Richard Cooper, he's got to be vying surely for the man of the day, you would consider.
I would have thought so. So the last race of the day, everyone's still basking in sunshine. There's lots of burnt heads around there, but lots of ice creams have been eaten, and we have had some wonderful racing. And let's see what Glenn Irwin can do. As you say, could he take 6 Superbike wins on the bounce? That would be extraordinary.
This, of course, is over 7 laps. This is the only race that's over 7 laps here. Oh, Hutchie's out. Hutchie's gone out. He's shaking his head from side to side. So Ian Hutchinson, well, it almost looked like a sort of casual run on, as if he'd got a problem other than the fact he outbraked himself.
He did, but we saw him go straight on in the other race with some brake issues.
Craig Neve we're with then on the BMW, the Cormac scaffolding BMW, and an opportunity here for other riders to get themselves into the feature positions, but no one surely is going to catch the number 1 bike.
Josh Brooks.
Well, yeah, Josh Brooks. Now, that's a very good point, Steve. On the 72, the PBM Ducati, not really featured much at all. He's the fastest man on Tuesday.
Everyone's gone down the slip road here.
Maybe they're going to the old Shell Oils hairpin.
Yeah, everyone getting in the slipstream, as we've always said, absolutely brim full tank to try and do these 7 laps. They really had to top the things right to the very top. And once one goes down the slip road, it sort of sucks you in there as well. But this is the lead on the first lap, and it is Glenn Irwin, number 1, who we've seen pretty much dominate. Well, he's dominated here for the last 5 years, really.
But a good point about the number 72, the Ducati of PBM. He was the fastest man around here on Tuesday in practice, but it kind of fell away. Everyone got quicker as the track got drier and faster. So watch out for the PBM Ducati of Josh Brooks. He's 3rd at the moment. This is your number 1 in number 1. But Richard Cooper is looking. I mean, he rides Super Twins bikes. He's tiny in comparison to some of the riders here, but he's right on it in this final Superbike race. He's looking for another win.
Yeah, I don't think Glenn Irwin would be expecting that. He really wouldn't expect Richard to be that close to him, but this is, of course, the first lap. They're just bedding things in a little bit. and see what goes on. But Glenn Irwin, though, I mean, he's won the first 3 British Superbike rounds. He really can adapt to the roads and the short circuits.
It's a skill. If you can swap it from short circuits to roads, you'll be lucky. There's our helicopter up in the camera from the back of Josh Brooks's bike as he comes down onto the coast road then. Absolutely superb. I tell you, track temperature's up to 33 degrees now. It's getting really warm here. Lap record speeds, 33 degrees of track. You can wonder why tyres might be giving a problem. Dunlop are out of this race, of course. They've withdrawn all their official support for this race. It's only Michael Rutter who's running on Dunlops, I think, certainly out of the front group.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's I feel very sorry for Dunlops. They've had some issues. They say,
whoa, hang on a minute, Glenn.
Yeah, that really flicked, didn't it, there?
Yeah, that gave him, that woke him up if he was slightly asleep. Richard Cooper will be looking to take advantage. Just goes to show you how Glenn is having to try quite hard to stay in front of Richard Cooper, though.
I think that's an example of the BSB bike. It's very sharp, it turns very quickly, which you need. Sometimes you don't on the road circuits, but that kind of snapped away from him a little bit, but he didn't lose any time, did he?
No, he's some rider, is Glenn Irwin. He's going to be superb at the TT this year. Can't wait to see him round the 37 3/4 mile TT course. He has a spectacular, certainly not a conservative riding style on the roads. When you look at the likes of John McGuinness perhaps and Michael Dunlop perhaps, just a little softer on the bike. This guy's riding it sort of short circuit style, which has got to take it out of him a bit, I would have thought.
Yeah, really muscles it around. A very fit young lad though, isn't he? He takes his training extremely seriously. And I think he takes his mental issues towards this as well. He kind of really gets into his own head to sort things out.
Here's Brooks, third place for the 72 ppm MCE sponsored Ducati. Sounds beautiful.
Yeah, it does. We both talking to the team early on, and you're right, because Josh Brooks was one of the fastest riders on the Tuesday night. They thought they were going to knock a lot of time off, but they came back 2 or 3 seconds faster, but couldn't believe how much faster everyone else went, particularly Peter Hickman.
Can't beat a build-up for a roads race when it's dry all the way through the day, though. And Saturday, it's absolutely beautiful today. It's been perfect since first thing this morning. Looking down at your race leader, Glenn Irwin, and with a bit of the doctor's dangle, got his right foot hanging out there in the braking area just to try and push himself back into the seat to keep the rear end down on the ground as well. So Glenn Irwin,
he's not really shaking Cooper off by that much. This gap's been looking at Joey Thompson's here. You can see the bumps and how much this suspension's moving around here at the moment. As he tips it in, you'll see that squash down over the bumps. We're actually on quite a smooth part of the course here at the moment, but it won't be there shortly.
That's the Wilson Craig Racing Honda that he's riding, the Antrim man, Joey Thompson. Then, meanwhile, at the chicane, tell you, he's having to try hard, Glenn Irwin. He's properly having to try hard to stay in front of Richard Cooper. Why do I sound surprised?
I know. Again, Richard Cooper looks like a young kid. He's actually 39 years old, but he...
You're kidding.
No, he is, honestly. You wouldn't believe it when you see him, would you? A bit
looks
like Hutchie
12.
to a certain extent. Now, Richard, and back from a big injury, had a nasty leg injury, and we've heard from him earlier on 2 years ago at Donington Park, and he really was. It was a career-ending accident. He's been laid up for a while. We'll be back after the break. We're back with all the action here at the Northwest 200.
So many of the big names. We were all looking forward to a feature race to remember. Unfortunately, it will be remembered for the men that have been excluded from it because Dunlop have withdrawn their tyre support. Meanwhile, 72, Josh Brooks is going to get a podium by the look of this. It's a nice steady ride for him. That PBM bike sounds so sweet, right to the white line. Well, it's a bit of accuracy for you.
Yeah, it's been so impressive throughout the week seeing the accuracy of these guys. You just watch them lift their knee over the top of the curve, their pinpoint accuracy, and it's just very, very impressive.
Looking at James Hillier there, he's just picked up a 10-second penalty. More about that in a minute while we keep an eye on Richard Cooper spinning himself through here. White line to white line. Coop's in second place. 5 laps we have done. We have 7 laps as a complete Northwest 200 feature race. But we are hearing this man, the 37, has got a 10-second penalty for going straight through one of the chicanes without stopping and putting his foot down. Apparently there's a regulation here that makes you have to take a bit more time when you're going through the centre of a chicane.
Yeah, it was Juniper chicane, and you're right. You have to stop and put your foot down. If you just carry on moving, even if you're going slowly, you do get a penalty. So that's actually going to put 10 seconds will put him behind these guys unless he can pull away. But no one's lapping as fast as this man.
No, he's looking very, very cool, calm and collected. He's heading for his 6th Superbike race win on the bounce. No one has ever done that before. He broke a record earlier on when he made it 5. It's going to be 6 soon. Glenn Irwin looking superb. Hillier then, still on a 37 bike. John McGuinness, I have to say, he really looks comfortable, doesn't he? Here we go then. And you're right, you said it earlier on, this bike is lively. It is his BSB bike, and the way that your suspension, the way that you've got the steering and suspension set up, it's a bit snappier. It's one of those situations where the change of direction happens really, really quickly. And on a road, sometimes you don't really want that, but it works for Glenn Irwin around the triangle.
Well, he's just used to this bike, but you're right, he's bumpy and everything else, but he's a strong lad. He can muscle it around. You can just see him moving all his body and weight around everywhere, and it actually doesn't look that bad, does it?
Metropole corner then, and he's going to be heading down to the coast road for the penultimate time while we look at Hutchie in front of Hillier now. Hutchie's got some late race pace, hasn't he?
Yeah, well, he came back from that mistake early on. He's caught these guys up and now passed them, so it's good to see Hutchie back, the only man that's won 5 TTs in a week.
Nice wheelie from Glenn Irwin then as he comes up over Black Hill onto the seafront now, while Hutchie back at Metropole. That's how much of a lead that he has over these guys. He's already way down on the coast road. Hutchinson comes through. Hillier next up. Drops it into the start and finish area to start his last lap then. Just under 9 miles left to go for Glenn Irwin to make a little bit more history.
You're wondering, is he thinking, and you all do it, is there a noise there, is there a vibration there? It's something that just happens to go through your head when you're leading by that much. Let's hope the bike stays together.
A beautiful day for Glenn Irwin as he aims to make it 6 out of the last 6, while we look at Ian Hutchinson on bike number 4. Hillier behind him. John McGuinness, where's Rutter gone? He must have gone right off the pace. He's on Dunlop tyres.
Yeah, I was about to say, could he have a tyre problem? I mean, it's happened in all the other races. I know he's not been running at the pace, lap record paces. He's still going pretty fast, so that could be the problem. Maybe he has another tyre issue. There's the BMW, the Milwaukee BMW, run by Hector and Philip Neal in front, with Hutchie in front of this gaggle, 37, James Hillier, and John McGuinness on the other Honda.
Don't forget the 37 has got a 10-second penalty that will be added to his time at the end of it. No problem for this man. He's so far up the road. He's at university already. Shifts his weight to the inside of the bike then to get onto the link road. Glenn Irwin takes a long, long look over his shoulder. There's no one there. Richard Cooper is way, way, way behind. These are the men that are on their last lap. They're at the Mill Road roundabout now as they blast out towards Station Corner. But this man, you know, he's all feet, legs and arms, and it's going to be a celebration for him. Ballysally roundabout, the home run now, down towards Portrush we go. Couple of chicanes to go and the coast road, and he's done it. It will be a Northwest 200 feature race win, surely, barring any kind of mechanical. You can still get the impression of just how bumpy it is, how these bikes move about, how it shakes your body over this road, this, you know, public road at the end of the day. Just earlier on today, vehicles were running up and down here.
Yeah, and Glenn will definitely be disappointed that he didn't have some of the other competitors in the race. It's always nice to have a battle with everyone out there, isn't it? So I think he'll, it certainly won't be a hollow victory because he's lapping. He's just outside the full lap record that was set by Peter Hickman earlier in the day, 4:19.048, but it's like 3 seconds outside that lap record.
Metropole for the last time. Glenn Irwin well on his way, while we look back up the road to number 4 Ian Hutchinson from James Hillier with that 10-second penalty, and right behind him John McGuinness, the legend John McGuinness. Rebecca, his wife, in pit lane as well, waiting for him to come home.
And his son Ewan actually works for the team, so the whole family here at the moment. But Glenn Irwin passes someone that he's just lapped and is about to cruise home. As we've said it before, his 6 on the bounce Superbike win here at the Northwest 200. He loves this place.
Ian Hutchinson's had a good day as well in the final race of our day. The number 4 comes cruising through the Macroboy chicane. James Hillier, whether he has that 10-second penalty or not, he's still had a good ride here today to finish his weekend off. But at Juniper, we are going through Juniper and down towards the final checker flag of the week. It will be Glenn Irwin celebrating. The checker flag is ready. Glenn Irwin, 6 out of 6 Superbike wins, and he is the man of the moment. Rolling in behind him, the 47 of Richard Cooper for second place. But this is a fine win for Glenn Irwin from Richard Cooper. Josh Brooks was third. Hutchie gets that 4th place. John McGuinness, James Hillier, Michael Rutter, Philip Crowe, Craig Neve and Lucas Maurer giving us our international flavour here.
The bike started, I felt something was going on. Station Corner was flat out, but way too easy to be flat out. And this red light kept flashing. I was like, no. So I didn't want to celebrate. You can't never celebrate too early, but fair play. It's maybe normal, and you start to overthink. The Honda's been fantastic. You know, pole, 2 Superbike wins. I love the team.
So an emotional Glen Irwin bringing this year's Northwest 200 to a close. It was a superb Northwest 200 this year. We hope you've enjoyed our coverage. We have loved being back on the North Coast, and we look forward to returning to the grid again next year. Until then, from all of us here, it's bye-bye.
Well, you've got to be careful on this track the way it is at the moment.
On the power so hard in these conditions.
Oh, look at that. That's incredible. Oh! No, surely not. It is the checkered flag. It is Lee Johnston.
Here he comes down the inside. Is he going to do it?
He takes his 5th win on the bounce. It's Glen Irwin. Absolutely unbelievable.